You are now listening to Femme Regard Podcast with Tessa Markle
and Carolina Alvarez.
Femme. Hey, welcome to season 4, Femme
Season
Fam.
4. Hey. I don't know where that came from, Tessa. But
We're just excited to be back.
Yes, we are. Oh, man. It has been a jolly old minute because we'll probably release this after Christmas. But, oh my gosh, guys, we miss you.
Yes, thank you for being patient with us. We took a little time off from podcasting to kind of just get, our production company just organized, get ourselves organized, plan for the future, and bring you guys even better content than we've been bringing you.
Absolutely. We don't want to just pump this thing out to pump it out. We still want to find great quality speakers and have our sessions be informative and thoughtful.
Yeah.
Wow, look at me getting deep already.
But we've gotten great feedback in the meantime. I love hearing people listening to our podcast and
yeah.
I mean, okay, people can be nice, right? And be like, yeah, you guys have a great podcast. But everybody that I've talked to that actually listens to more than one episode loves it. I love hearing that. People are getting inspired and learning stuff. And that's amazing.
No, I could not agree more. The feedback has been super just saying the little things. One girl reached out and said, oh, hey, didn't realize that I could get a tax return on all my production stuff. And that was from one of our first season 1. And I forget about some of the things we talked about because we covered a lot. I think a lot technically, as far as that kind of stuff in the beginning. And it's just great to be oh, wow, I helped the little filmmaker out here over here. Yes. And help me help you kind of thing. So it's that, getting that kind of feedback is awesome.
Yes.
And tell us.
Thank you guys. Yes. For the feedback, for listening. And keep letting us know if there's stuff you want to specifically hear about. If there's stuff you have questions about. If we don't know the answer, we'll find somebody who does. We currently are looking for a badass female writer to bring on as a guest. So if you or anyone you know is interested, we'd love to talk about that field. But let us know if there's things you have questions about and want to hear us talk about.
Because we'll look into it. We'll put on our little detective hats and go to town and Pikachu that shit. I don't know. But it's been, we're also, as we've been talking all throughout the last season, we just keep working on our femme noir, as we call it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not I'm sure writers out there, creators out there can relate to this. You can't just rush creativity. You can't just make it happen, fit it in a box, package it, put a bow on it, and call fucking Amazon Prime that shit. I wish and that's I think the most frustrating part of this journey is just wanting it to be done so I can move on. But unless all of the story plots and everything is in line, it just won't make sense to keep moving forward, because you can try and try to put it together, but I'm not saying we got to be perfectionists here, but I
mean, I think that's the nature of the beast though too. If you're on a show that airs every week or something and you're a writer on that show, first of all, you already have an established storyline, world, characters, all of that stuff to build off of, and second of all, those are the deadlines you got to meet, Whereas if you're making your own film or series or whatever, but you're creating it, from scratch yourself, you're building all of that from nothing. It's going to take some time to create it and to perfect it. And, there's people that take 5 years just to write a script, let alone start in pre-production. So
exactly.
That's how it goes.
Exactly. And I love that you pointed that out too. I mean, it's a much different world when you have to start from one to create the world, and then the characters and dive that, then okay, I already get that, but once you do, I do feel it comes a lot more quicker, and that's what I found. Once I'm okay, I really feel I got a grip on this world, all right, let's just start to put in all the puzzle pieces. So that's kind of what what we've been doing, and I needed like that time to to like focus on that, because
Yeah.
when you're starting from the bottom, you got a million things. You got your day job, you got your, you know,
Well, your
the
life,
dog
like,
gang,
I
the
mean,
waking you up at 3 a.m.
yeah.
Shout out to the hood. And like there's just, you know, you got life, and that's okay. So don't, if any of you can relate to this, like it is a trying time, but you got to just, you know, pump yourself up. I
Mhm.
literally will freaking, you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
One. So
Mhm.
I think that was like also huge, you know, in a little, if you need a break, like rewind, reset. But like, you know, I still try to do things like go to the gym and like then pump myself up to write, because after, it's not that I'm not excited to do that, because of course this is my passion, but it's that weighing, like, okay, that weighing feeling of, all right, I'm exhausted.
Well,
Can
you
I
get
get the,
burned out. Everybody
yeah,
does, even on
yeah.
doing stuff you love, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it could be, you know, we're here to cheer you guys on. You can do it. Blast your favorite like song in the car or scream, whatever you want to do. Been there, done that. And then just hit the road running, and like keep finding, I think a huge thing also to, when you're feeling burnt out,
Hmm.
is to again link up with a network of people who are as driven, as motivated. I think that really like influences your day to day.
Yeah.
So I always try to have, you know, conversations with people, which we'll kind of delve into. Actually, that would be a
Hmm.
nice little segue of how you can find people, a community to keep building you up.
Yeah.
When you know, I'm just gonna say there's some gram friends out there that were like, hey, what's your project? Like, how are
Yeah.
you doing? How's it going? Because I mean, it's awesome when everyone's like, I'm at an all-time high, but then also when they're like, I just had an anxiety attack, like how how am I gonna push through? And it's great when you can have this people like, it's okay, we're gonna just, did you find time to rest today? Like,
Hmm.
no, I didn't. Okay, that's probably why you're like dying right now. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna like reset and replay. So I think that's something we really wanted to touch on today, is like how to network, find your community.
How do you find your tribe with the right vibes?
Yes, Tessa. So like there's this thing called, I don't know, I'm pretty new to this. It's like the Instagram and
I don't know. Have you guys heard of it?
the
Like, seems to be
Instagrams.
the hot new thing.
And it's one has served, I mean, it's been great because we've been able to, you know, put the femme regard vibes out there and
Mhm.
get people to follow, listen to our podcast, but then also be on the podcast.
Yeah.
And
Like to genuinely connect with people, which like I don't think people realize you can do on Instagram. I mean, I don't know, maybe like you youngins, I don't know, maybe you do it more than I do. But like before, I was always like, okay, so we just gotta, you know, like post all the time so people are always seeing us and like, you know, follow back and all that kind of stuff. It was about getting followers, not really like engaging for me. And now I've come to realize like, no, if you actually engage with people, like you can start a real conversation and you can get to know them in real life, bring them on the podcast, work with them on a film, like
have
whatever it
that
is.
friendship that
Yeah.
like that's what I was talking about, is that's cheer squad, pretty much being
Hmm.
like you can really relate to and connect with,
Yeah.
and then even work with, which is fantastic. Like
Mhm.
I'm hoping that the contacts we've made, because they've been really great quality,
Yeah.
amazing people, that we can work together, most
Hmm.
importantly. But it is so nice to kind of have, you know, that conversation, that
Yeah.
dialogue happening, you know, and more than just like liking a photo, like you
Hmm.
were
Yeah.
saying.
In fact, our next two guests that you guys will hear in the next few episodes, we found both of them on Instagram and we've, you know, created a relationship with both of them that, you know,
And they're,
obviously we brought them on the podcast,
yeah,
which is like one awesome thing, but like, you know, we cheer each other on and we keep up with what each other are doing. And, you know, it's awesome.
yeah, absolutely. And I love, they're actually, I just realized they're both from New York. I've
Yeah.
met one of them in New York. Like, I think a year before we had them on the podcast, and we like this entire time we were communicating, pumping each other up, and then finally she just happened to be in LA, and we're like, shout out to Isabella Tan, and had her on the show, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you guys to hear hers. And then we just had Mr. Michael Rubio. So those are our two guests that, you know, they're not even from here. And who knows, like I go back home. So like it'll be great to link up and connect. So you can meet great quality and make meaningful relationships, which is like kind of weird for me to say, but like it feels awesome, weird, but it is.
It's like before, I guess I would have thought like, oh, if I saw them, you know, on a panel or met them through a mutual friend, then we connect on Instagram. Then maybe we can keep up that way. But no, like we found them straight up on Instagram because we liked the stuff they were posting. You know, there was no connection, no previous relationship. So yeah.
And that's where you're like, great quality work will, you know, putting your work out there as a filmmaker, just like you never know who would see it, who will reach out, and make sure you do reach out yourself, because like people will see your stuff. If they're digging, they're vibing, you never know what would come out of it, and what you could, where you can grow your own community through that.
Yeah. And it's cool too, because like, you know, people that you admire that are, you know, famous or just way a lot more levels ahead of you, whatever, you know, reach out to them too. I see a lot of like famous people on Instagram that they'll like snapshot like a message they got in their DM because they were like, oh, this person's so cool. Like, I'm so glad I inspired them, whatever, you know, like they do read their stuff. If they're not reading it, their publicist is, and they're telling them about the best ones, you know, whatever. But a lot of them do respond on social media, whether it's Instagram or Twitter. I think those are kind of like the big ones that people really actually engage on.
Yeah.
But yeah, like make sure you reach out to the people you admire, because a lot of them really do read it and really will get back to you, believe it or not.
And then if not, there's this great tool called IMDB Pro that you can utilize to get in touch with their they're most likely their personal won't be in there, but there might be the agency or their PR rep or someone you can try and reach out to. We're kind of working on that because we want to bring up, you know, more amazing guests on the show that we love and admire, and kind of are not the easiest to reach to, but there are other ways. So we found like, you know, doing a little IMDb Pro stockage.
Yeah. I actually spent hours the other day. I personally was an executive producer on a project separate from Femme Regard recently this year. Shout out for Correspondence. And I've been doing a lot of reaching out to people about it and asking them to kind of, you know, share the project and become involved in various ways. But yeah, it's been a lot of like, it wasn't really appropriate to do it through the social media platform way. So, you know, which is, you have to be discernible about, you know, when it's appropriate, when it's not.
Yeah.
But finding all of their, you know, PR, their publicists, their managers, whatever on IMDb Pro. And like, sometimes IMDb Pro doesn't have it either. But guess what? Usually Google will find it if IMDb Pro can't, or like whatever, you know. So like, it's easier than you think to find ways to contact people.
Yeah. I agree, but I think it's huge now that, you know, there's Instagram, like you need to just go out there and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one more thing that you had mentioned really as being an important thing when you are like looking for more people to follow and looking for more people that you want to connect with and stuff, is to align yourself with
their followers.
Exactly.
Yes, I did bring that up in our little chat the other night. That's actually been one of the ways I've been able to find also some other great contacts or people building our community, is finding the same people that I admire, the accounts that I admire and love, seeing who their followers are, and like their chances are they're, again, like-minded individuals, and like I hit them up too and try to build a conversation or a community, whatever, dialogue with them. And I've found some other people because, you know, it's they're liking the same stuff you're liking. What common interest right there. Boom.
I mean, like, even just, you know, people that like people teach classes on the strategy of getting followers on Instagram and stuff. And like, one of the things they say is to do that, like, simply to get followers. Because, you know, if you're following people that follow people that you all have the same interest in, like, they're going to want to follow you back because they see that you all, you know, appreciate the same thing, whatever. But like, beyond that, it's a great way to actually connect with those people that, you know, all appreciate, this one same director's work or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So thanks for bringing that up. I forgot. Like, yeah, that's been a great way also to engage and find people.
Yeah.
And should we do a little like inspirations
I think
corner, a little
so.
movie corner?
Yeah, so like, we always bring you guys inspirations on our personal episodes. We wanted to talk about a little like movie watch segment for our inspo this episode.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do mine real quick because mine will be short, and then I'm gonna let you talk as long as you want on yours because
Okay,
I'm excited to
cool.
hear about it.
Okay.
But so if you guys remember from last season, Ellie Wells, she produced the short Eagle Rock, and we are so excited that it's finally available.
Oh yeah.
So the way that we personally watched it is she is on First Time Filmmakers Sessions, which is on Vimeo. I believe that's only available for a little while to rent because then they close voting and then they choose actual like winners and all that kind of stuff. But we mentioned where you can follow her and where you can follow the film. So DM them if you want to know any details. I do believe it is available on Amazon Prime as well right now.
Yes.
But so we got to watch that, and shout out to Ellie. It was awesome. We're so excited we got to see it. But this whole first filmmaker sessions thing is you pay $15 to rent for like, I think it's like a week or 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
100 shorts. So I don't know if they narrowed down or if these were all the ones submitted or how that works, but it's a whole 100 shorts. Like, that's awesome. And I was so excited to do that because I'm like, I get to see all of these shorts from all over the world, from all of these first-time filmmakers. Like, A, that's just cool to watch that.
Absolutely.
B, it's inspirational for us of like, oh, I never thought to do that or whatever.
Right.
And C, it's like, maybe I want to connect with these people. Like,
Exactly.
if I see a film I'm really impressed with and stuff. So, like.
No, I'm super excited. I love that. Like, she put it on there, and now we get to not only enjoy her film but see all these other first time filmmakers doing exactly what you said. Like, I am really excited to delve into that.
Totally. So like this session will be expired. I apologize by the time we release this podcast, but keep your eye on that on Vimeo because I know they do it at least yearly. I have a suspicion it's even more than that, or at least similar things more than that. So yeah, keep an eye on that, and you don't need to have like a paid Vimeo subscription or anything to do that. You just pay to rent them. So
we can look more into that too, y'all, and put that, out there, because I think that would be, especially if, you're green like us, like that's a great platform to start putting out your work on.
Absolutely.
And I think Vimeo also has some other great, opportunities we've talked about before on the podcast.
Yeah.
But that was really awesome. So congrats, Ellie.
Yay.
It's been lovely, and I can't wait for our listeners to check your work out as well. My I guess inspiration of the week, but more so like movie that I recently saw.
Movie watch corner.
Movie watch corner. There we go. Was the Honey Boy movie, written by Shia LaBeouf and directed by the female director Emma Harrell. It's based on his true life as a child actor and his relationship with his dad, and just growing up in that kind of chaotic world, but also just like the real relationship between him and his father. I don't want to spoil it away, but it was not easy. And going through rehab, and
he plays his father in the movie, right?
He freaking does.
That's so crazy to me. Like, I think that's so cool.
I just was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, after, it was so sad. Like, I'm gonna get like emotional right now. It was really sad, and now like just taking myself back into it, like, like having to then, like, he played his dad the way he did was just wow.
Yeah, that had to be tough as an actor, like to delve into that.
But I was reading, I think it's something beautiful that was, said in an interview, that I think was the production company that picked this up and, found the writer and the director. They were saying that, he had written them, like written the script, and while he was in rehab, and I think like 2 weeks after he like paired up the team, they're like, and found the producer, and sorry, I can't think of the name at the moment of the production company producer, but also a woman. She was like, hey, he's like, I will show up every day on time. I will be there, because literally he just got out of rehab like 2 weeks ago, and that was kind of a big gamble. Like, can we trust, you know, him to put in the work and show up? And he was there every day, prompt, but also, you know, I think this is just another, just for anyone out there going through something difficult, you know, he was saying, you know, he needs to do this because this is like essentially will save his life. And I think a lot of times we take for granted other artists' work, or, you know, it's so amazing to be so vulnerable and honest. And everyone always says that too. So I feel like a douche saying that, but it really is, because it touches and it shows the other, you know, people who've gone through like a dysfunctional parenting structure, which really sucks. Yeah. And you know, that you can push through and create something more than just that for your life to look back on, you know. And I hope he looks back on this as like a just, you know, this was my life, but I am, you know, where I'm at today, and I can be okay with that. And, you know, and again, he created work that I'm sure will touch many, many people. It's been reviewed very well. So go see Honey Boy if you haven't, or if it's been too late now to see it. Like, go
stream it when it's available, because that'll be next.
Yeah. And I think that was really important and well done, and props to him for pushing through. Yeah. Like, I just always admire work, and the director. Yes. Female director. Yes. And female producers. Filmmakers. Yes. Always just love that. Love seeing that. And I think I could go on, but that's what I'll say. That's what I'll say about it right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys as always for listening, and we'll see you next time with some awesome guests.
Yeah. See you guys.
Thanks for listening to Femme Regard Podcast. If you like what you hear, tune in next time for more tips on the filmmaking business and insightful conversations with industry professionals over tea.
We can only grow with your support, so please subscribe, share, rate, and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. If you leave us a great comment, we might give you a shout out on the show. For more on us, check us out at femregard.com.